evening. We know that this night is history in making for us and hopefully for you. There are almost no rules in this evening. We want you to relax, have fun. We have a great project that we want to introduce. The only thing we're going to ask is, if you have a little thing called a cell phone, little or big thing called a cell phone, can you turn it to mute, or better yet, just turn it off? We're going to leave that world outside and really take in what we're about to see, right? The first thing we're going to see is, a 2-hour video. Are you ready for the 2-hour video? I don't think so, right? It's probably all of a 5-6 minute video. And what we want you to do is make your mind like a parachute. Open it up, because that's how it'll work the best. Thank you for coming, and let's get started. Woman to introduce me to this video and project, Miss Jamila Frierson.
A great presentation, but I'm so excited that I don't. So, but like she said, my name is Jamila Frierson. I am a part of the Matrix Group, and we have such a special treat this evening. As a matter of fact, Dr. Glenn, if you let them know that I'm up here, we have a special guest in the house, and I hope you understood exactly what you just saw. I hope you paid attention to how you get paid. I hope you paid attention to the products and services that we offer. And then more importantly, I hope you understood what our impact is right now in the 21st century. And we're so excited about who we have here tonight. See, you can hear information from so many different types of people, right? It's like going to that corporate job and you hear the CEO tell you exactly what his vision is and how he wants his company to go. But a lot of times you're really not included in those details. See, when you get to hear information from a man who took his time to spend time with kids and put 200 kids through college out of his own pocket, who has been a pillar in the community, I kind of describe him like a sundae. Everybody like a good sundae? Right? You think of the chocolate and the vanilla and the strawberry ice cream. I'm a diabetic, so I'm sitting with him. I can't really enjoy one, but I'm going to tell you about what one looks like. And then you see the 2 bananas on the side, right? That's you. That's us. And then you see all the whipped cream and the toppings. And then when you meet someone who's been a part of this journey, who controls over 60% of this journey, he's kind of like the cherry on top. See, if Bill Gates and Oprah Winfrey and Warren Buffett were all morphed into one person, would you want to know what they look like? See, Oprah is one of my favorite people. Let me tell you why. She builds schools in Africa. Is that amazing? But what if she taught well over 100 people how to build schools too? Would she not be more powerful? See, it's one thing for you to be great at what you do and then go do something and be notified and be admired for it, but it's nothing better than someone who's giving you what they have. I can't cash Oprah's checks. I love the Steelers, but I can't cash their checks. And they're not showing me how to kick field goals. Oprah's not showing me how to own Harpo. But tonight we have a gentleman in here who's going to show you how he put 200 kids through college out of his pocket. He's going to show you how he's been able to work with his community and build relationships with people in other countries. He just got back from Mexico. He's going to show you how you can go there and do what he did. He's going to show you how he has created over 100 multimillionaires, not just in this industry, but all over the world. See, if you can sit down and show me that, I'm paying attention. But I'm tired of clapping for you in the stands if you're not showing me. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I want you to get a pen and paper. I want you to get out a recorder. Because the information you're about to receive is going to help you wherever you go. And I want you to really think about how you're going to be significant in the 21st century. So without further ado, I want to bring up my friend and mentor, Mr. Byron Nelson.
Everybody little bit excited?
Yes.
I don't know what time zone I'm in or where I am, but I'm excited to be here. So the last 4 days, I think I've hit Mexico, Toronto, Houston, and Dallas. No, and DC in less than 4 days. Would you guys say that's a pretty good whirlwind? That's pretty good. And I'm still standing. I haven't slept. But I'm excited. You guys heard from Dr. Glenn? Did she do a phenomenal job?
Yeah.
So she's just, and you just heard from the infamous Miss Jamila Frierson. So my job is, if you're here for the first time, here's my question. If there's a way that you can match, double, or triple your income over the next 3 years, 2 years, and you can do that on 10 to 15 to 20 hours a week, on a schedule you create for yourself, and you can walk away, and that money would continue to hit your bank account, how many people are interested in that kind of plan? I have a few people interested in that? And so for me, my story is a very simple story. I was in a position that I was overworked, I was underpaid, and you really don't have to take notes on this. This is just the presentation. I'm going to get into the training later, but I mean, if you'd like to, it's fine. For me, what happened was being from the south side of Chicago, then moving to Compton and having a family that was like the Jeffersons. Is anybody familiar with the Jeffersons? That would be my family. We just kept moving up. My sister graduated top of her class at Duke Law. She went to Tufts undergrad. She went to University of Spain. I actually went to Morehouse, went to Marshall B School, got a qualification from there. That means you quit. Is everybody following that? Okay. Started making money, and what happened was, my father being part of Brown versus Education and originally from St. Louis and Chicago, I was in a position that, don't worry about it, it's fine. I was in a position that I just needed to do something different with my life. How many people get that? And in this economy, how many people need an extra comma in their bank account? Okay? And that's what this is. I like to premise my conversation so people are very clear. I don't do sales presentations. I don't do convincing conversations. I was approached just like every one of you with everything. Amway, Mary Kay, Prepaid Legal, Noni Juice, Montague, Kagan Water, World Financial Group. How many people have been approached with one of these things? Right? And so I was like, I don't do pyramid stuff. I don't do, things of this nature. But for me, I was very blessed. I got a chance to meet a guy named Mark Hughes. Now, many of you may not know his name, but you know his works. He started a company called Herbalife. How many people have heard of that company? Oh, yeah. Okay? So when you see a man that flies in a helicopter on a heliport on a $45 million home. Now we're in California. We're in Marina Del Rey. Ocean boats, yachts. We're around money all the time. Yes or yes? Yes. Okay? I mean, even if you don't have none, you're around somebody who got some money. Right? We got Marina Del Rey. We got Beverly Hills. We got Palos Verdes. We got Hancock Park. We got a lot of money out here. But let me ask. We got some people that are just about, my age, like Dr. Walker. She's a little bit younger than me. So we have some people in here that are seasoned, that have been around. When was the last time any one of you have been at a house when somebody flew home in a helicopter to come and talk to you for about 10 to 15 minutes? How many would say, even at this age of our life, that's pretty impressive? Okay? So that got my full attention. I had 2 questions. Is it legal? And can you show me how to do it? And I had a third question, being black in the south side of Chicago, if it's not legal, could we not get caught? So I just wanted to understand, what is it? He said, Byron, it's okay to be ignorant, it's not okay to be stupid. Ignorance means you just don't know. I didn't know that 50% of the revenue generated out of Russia and Japan and parts of the Middle East came from this way of doing business. I didn't know that. I didn't know more multimillionaires and billionaires were created out of this industry than any other industry in the world, right next to real estate, and right after the subprime, it probably superseded that. I was taught how to get a good education and get a good job, and how many of us can agree good and job don't go together? Okay. Then I went and started owning my own business. How many people in here understand owning your own business? I know I have a few business owners in here. How many people understand that you really don't own your own business, your business now owns you? So now I'm working 7 days a week. I got employees. My employers are making more money than me because I got to make payroll. How many people understand that conversation? So I'm like looking for leverage in different ways of doing things. And I had a rites of passage because when I was young, I was introduced to a guy named Jim Rohn, who was the godfather of self-development. And it's just funny how the dots connected. When you see someone like Mark Hughes and you're 26 years old, and he's living this lifestyle, he said, you got to find something that makes sense to you. That's all I want to do this evening, is just make sense to you. I don't want to sell you, I want to convince you. My grandmother used to say, common sense and deodorant are cousins. The ones who need it most don't use it. This is going to be a common sense conversation. So we're going to talk about owning our own business. We're going to go from a W2 quadrant to a 1099 quadrant. That means an independent contractor, you own your own business. And in that, we have to find something. How many people believe we would like to have more than one stream of income hitting our bank account? Because I believe in multiple streams of income. I believe if you have more than one bill hitting your bank account, you need more than one stream of income coming into your bank account. And the thing is it's called leverage. And so in understanding that, whether it's direct marketing, sales, whatever it is, at the end of the day, this hotel needs clients in it. The restaurants need clients in it. No matter what business you have, you need a customer base or market share, yes? Okay? So we're going to start a business. We're sitting down one-on-one. We established we want to make some more money. We have to establish, okay, if we offer something, we can make millions of dollars if we got involved with jet fuel. Jet fuel. Cindy, how many people you know own a jet? Zero. So even if, how about you, Sherry? How many people you know own a jet?
Own a jet?
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay, so we're talking to people that are well-to-do here. Is there right women that so far? And even if they were willed all the oil of OPEC and Shell, they still set themselves up for bankruptcy because they have no clients. You can't make any money. You have no customers. Is there right women that so far? Let's play another game. How many people you know have a cell phone? Millions. It's rhetorical. How many people you know have gas and electricity? A lot of people. How many people you know use the internet? Okay. Juanita, how many people you know got cable TV? You don't know me. I got named in the middle of a presentation. There's a ringtone when you say you right here. Cable TV. Many, okay? And me being black, I say legally because we be at the trees with each other. So let's just say you came to me, you knew I owned several businesses, I owned a lot of real estate, and you said, look, Byron, if I could show you a way to save up to 30, 40, possibly 50% on bills that you already have, nothing's going to change, your bills are just going to go down. Would you support my business and give it a try? Now, you said yes, or I'll say yes because you asked me to become a customer. Nothing changes. You still have Verizon, you still have Sprint, you can still get T-Mobile, you still have DirecTV or Dish. So what's really powerful about that conversation is we aren't taking you off of what you currently have and putting you onto a generic company. Is everybody following that so far? So I mean, it's just a no-brainer that if you're told, you didn't ask me for any money out of my pocket. You don't have to change my buying habits. You don't have to come back to me in 6 months and say, do you need some more of it? You did something one time. But how long will we have bills? Forever. And how often do we have to pay our bills? Every single month. So you're going to get paid every month forever for doing something one time. That's called residual income. And I promise you in the business dictionary, being a wealth coach, getting paid well in excess of $3,000 an hour off the books off of this, there's nothing like residual income. There's nothing like working in 2016, 17, and 18, quitting, adding up 3 years of income, and it's paid to you whether you get out of bed or not. This is not to take many of you off of what you love to do. Dom loves what he does in health. Dr. Walker loves what she does in Africa. I can use everybody in here for people that love what they do. But when you can do what you love doing because you love doing it, not because you have to do it, that's another conversation. Is everybody following that so far? So the invitation stands. If I can show you how to be able to double or triple your current income without taking you off a base of what you're currently doing on purpose in life, add an extra comma to your bank account, and you can walk away and that money will continue to hit your bank account. Would you join us in the movement that's going to happen with or without me or you? That's the question I want you to answer in your head by the time I finish in less than 15 minutes. Is that good? Yes. Excellent. This is what we call a 1 through 10. Got me, Dave? There we go. What this does is, and I like utilizing a gym as a metaphor, what this shares earning as a ACN IDO are based solely upon the successful sale of the products to the customers and their uses. All it's saying is, we don't guarantee that you're going to have a body to work at. If you go to the gym, we aren't going to guarantee you have muscles at the end of the day. If you go to the gym and you do nothing, you're going to have nothing. If you go in and put in a lot, you're going to get out a lot. Is everybody moving that so far? What I dislike about the industry is too many people want to go and give you the illusion that if you get into something, you're going to get rich. This is not a get-rich scheme. This is a get-rich-sure thing if you build it. If Anthony's in a plane and Tori is in a car and they race from here to New York, the plane's going to win. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the vehicle you're in. When you can get in a vehicle growing at an extra $1 billion every 60 seconds, you don't have to be that intelligent to know if you got a smidgen of it, it'll change your lifestyle. Yes or yes? Yes. Beautiful. Next. The company, what I love about the documentation, because we believe documentation beats conversation. Our company has been around since 1993. What does that tell you? When I started in the industry, there was over 5,000 companies. Of those 5,000 companies, less than 30 of them exist today. We aren't just a startup. We aren't trying to figure out if it works. There's no theoretical conversations here. After 25 years, when you're looking at, let's see, we have Circuit City, out of business. We have Blockbuster, out of business. How many businesses can you think of? I mean, you just think about it. 95% of all businesses fail within the first 12 months. 25 years, and we're the most dominant player in the world. Inc., Fortune, Forbes, USA Today, Success Magazine, Wall Street, can't all be lying about the same company. So am I getting that so far? And when I'm talking to my people specifically, I'm telling us we're always at the train station waiting for ships to come in. Ships don't come to the train yard. I'm here to place you at the dock. Is everybody getting that? Okay, next. 25 countries around the world. Great Britain, Germany, Sweden, Holland, Netherlands, Norway, Canada, Austria, Ireland, Italy, Spain, France, Australia, New Zealand, Canada just opened up. We're opening up Mexico on October 15th. Japan just opened up. Philippines, first quarter of next year, and Taiwan. People are like, well, how do you remember all those countries? How many people, if you got paid in every currency, would remember every country? Okay, I remember everyone. Every time a comma hits my bank account, I'm like, yep, okay, I'm going to remember that one. So you're looking at it. These are our world headquarters. Our main headquarters worldwide is set up in Charlotte, North Carolina. We just opened up in Mexico. You don't buy buildings and property in acreages of land to go out of business in the next year or 2 years. We aren't going anywhere. In fact, there's no way you could be in here and truly be in the business world and have not heard of the company at some point in your life. Whether it was LCI or ACN. I had people come, I had a guy come up to me last year and said, I heard about this and I saw it like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. He said, it's not my cup of tea. I said, let me ask you a question. Are you the same person today that you were 10 years ago? He said, no, it's not the same company. There's a reason why. I mean, why is it that you have someone like T.D. Jakes that has 25,000 people showing up 3 times a day and another church that's on 48th and Crenshaw that only has 200? Because of the leadership and the system that's put in place and the people that surround it. Is everybody getting that so far? So when taught by the proper people with the proper system, the only way you can fail is if you choose powerfully to fail. Because it's insane to be able to say, well, I don't want to get involved, because before every one of you leave this room and go to get in your car, you will push send on a cell phone. There'll be somebody looking at the presentation saying, yeah, I just saw this thing and it looks pretty interesting. I'm not sure if I really want to do it or not. You're on a phone, which means you're already in. There's only going to be 2 people to walk out. Either you're going to get paid or pay somebody. How many people are getting paid? Okay. Okay. Next. What do you actually do with this business? Well, we have specialized in customer acquisition. We acquire customers for services that are being rendered as an essential part of every person's life on this planet. We started with long distance. That evolved into a whole super information highway. Dish, DirecTV, Anovia for merchant services, one of my favorites. When you can get paid every time someone swipes a credit card, a debit card. I have a Hasidic Jewish community and an entire Russian community that is ridiculous. The rabbi takes me over to a guy. He says, you know what? It sounds interesting. We're in already. He brought 17 people to look at the business. I said, so what did you like about the presentation? You know what he said? I didn't see the presentation. I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, okay, Rabbi says you're worth about 100 million liquid. You're a pretty smart guy. You got into something, a $499 business, and you didn't even see the presentation? He said, let me tell you something. I just want to make sure that I can recap it because I didn't come out to see the presentation. We brought another 30 people because we heard, Mr. Nelson, you were coming in town. I said, okay. He said, so I own 100 apartment buildings and luxury condos. Minimum comp 1.3 million. We own the HOA. We also own the police department and the fire department. What's happening to Black America, your communities that you go around from Chicago to Louisiana and what you're doing in Mexico, that happened to us 20 years ago. But instead of us marching, as you have Black Lives Matter, we decided to take all our money and come together and buy everything. Now we control everything in Sheepshead Bay all the way up through New Jersey shore. Every import and export, every business, we have integrated our businesses. So we know Rabbi is not going to jeopardize our relationship over a $500 business. We looked at it and said, if we just, off of internal consumption, everyone that moves into our condo, the first thing they're going to do is turn on the phone, the gas, the electricity, turn on internet, and some have cable, but we don't really watch TV that much. He said, just off internal consumption, my 17 building managers are going to make about $130,000 a year in less than 16 months. That's without us even making a phone call if we just signed up. He said, worst case scenario, if we do nothing with the opportunity, understanding the distinction, talking about financial literacy specifically, just off of a 1099 alone of the write-offs, we're going to make at least $2,000, which is a 400% return on $500 if we did nothing but just save receipts for the year. He said, why a person wouldn't get into business just for the write-offs of receipts? They're going to eat tomorrow. They're going to get gas tomorrow. They're going to go and buy clothes for their job. And they wouldn't, I mean, taxes for grown-ups is like Christmas for kids. Baby, we're going to get a car after taxes. We're going to put a roof on the house after taxes. Baby, you know that new outfit? Right after we get our tax return. So why wouldn't a person be smart enough to position themselves just for the write-offs alone to get involved with another business, even if they did nothing? When it's a home-based business, you can create your own hours, work as little as you want, or as much as you want, and God forbid you come across somebody crazy like Dr. Glenn, who already has a multi-million-dollar practice and leverages this and goes and builds a dynamic organization over thousands of customers coming into our organization where you're overriding that and getting a percentage of somebody else who you bless with an opportunity who wants to change their life. Does that make sense? Is everybody getting this? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Okay? So all of this, from wireless, when you can get paid every time someone pushes in, energy, every time someone turns on a light switch or cooks some food. I mean, this Christmas is coming up fast. Yes or yes? We're already at Halloween. You know, y'all know it's going to come fast. Right? We already at Thanksgiving. They got turkeys in the window. Right? I'm sending everybody Christmas lights. When they ask why, I say, just turn them on. Highest wattage on the planet. I need a raise. So y'all forget I said, people, I don't even know Christmas lights. I don't even know them. Yeah, I just want to take you your trade. High-speed internet, cable, but merchant services. One of my kids out of New York, one of the guys who came in, he actually owns 4 Ritz-Carltons, just like the one right across the water right there. He said, you're telling me that we got to upgrade everything. Anybody who has a business knows you have to upgrade everything with your merchant services this year. So he said, just by getting new equipment, a lower price point per transaction for cards of everybody checking in and purchasing something in my hotel, they're going to do that anyway. You're telling me you're going to pay me anywhere from 5 to 10% on top of the profit and lower my price point? I don't have to do anything, just put the equipment in my store, in my restaurant? That's a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen. That just, how many people you know that own small to medium-sized businesses or maybe some other businesses where you can get paid for doing nothing but swiping a card? We're going to a paperless society. Within the next 3 years, you don't even carry change except for the card reader these days. Yes or yes? Excellent. Next. This is really close to my heart because I have 2 nonprofits that are huge in being able to help with education in our inner communities, as well as a couple of other things. But we came up with my board of directors and the people that I work with our company, and we figured out that about 3 years ago there was an epidemic in the United States of over 17 million kids in North America that go without a meal. So now, partnering up with food banks and other associations, every time we acquire a customer, Anthony comes to me and says, do you want to save money? I say yes. We feed a hungry child. Our first year, we fed over 1.3 million kids. Our second year, over 2 million. Our third year, this year, we'll do over 3 million. And by opening up Mexico alone, we'll probably do 3 million in the first year. Why do I share that with you? Number 1, to understand the heartbeat of our company. Number 2, if you have a nonprofit or have a tie to one, we have a whole nother program of circumventing millions of dollars back into institutions, nonprofits, women battered shelter, homeless care, everything that you could possibly think of, where literally we just brought on the Church of, the Church of Refuge with Bishop Noah Jones, which is being activated this year. Why I'm talking to what's happening in Texas with, Bishop Noah Jones, but I can use a whole host of others, white, Irish, black, all the way across the board in different denominations, because they get it. Is everybody with me, yes? So what do people go to church for? To pray for they can get rid of their bills. It just makes sense. Next. This is why I say get rid of your bills. Let's say hypothetically, Juanita referred 5 people. It's my best friend now, right? I'm using you all night, Juanita. So Juanita comes and she refers 5 people, 5 of her friends to save money. 1 on T-Mobile, 1 on Sprint, 1 on, Verizon. She has 5 people who say, I want to save money on my cell phone bill. Now her cell phone is free. How many people like free as a rate? Okay? If you acquire 10 gas or electricity customers, you no longer have a gas or electricity bill. So when you look at that, I mean, just off of signing up to internal services alone, I think Dominic over here has already made $1,000 just signing up his own services. Not only is he getting paid 10% on his bills, but he already has made pretty much about $3,000 in his first week by positioning himself. How many people think that's a good return for 7 days for somebody who works a full-time business, has a whole client base, is a full-time dad, a full-time husband, has no time, and at the same time just made $3,000 off of just signing up a couple people and all of his own services? Can we give that a round? Like my grandmother said, that's just common sense to me. Is everybody with me on that? Yes? So you're able to get bonuses on all the services that you actually acquire. We get into the details of that for the people that are serious and not curious. But there's now money as well as residual income. Next. I just covered that. You acquire 10 services. Your bills are taken care of, gas and electricity. Next. The business model is very simple. For example, Linda knows a lot of people that drink coffee. Mark is going to get some coffee. Mark goes into Starbucks and says, I want a black coffee. They say, Mark, that'll be $3. He says, but Linda sent me. Well, if Linda sent you, it's only going to be $2. How many people know coffee tastes a whole lot better at $2 versus $3? Okay. The coffee only costs 50 cents to make. There's $1.50 in profit. 75 cents is paid to Linda because she made the referral. 75 cents is kept by Starbucks. And now Mark is getting it at $1 less. So instead of spending millions of dollars in traditional marketing, for commercials, billboards, backboards, and everything else, all we do is word of mouth marketing. Think about how I'm meeting each one of you. Somebody referred you to get here. Why do we go to a good restaurant? Somebody refers it. Why do we go get a trainer? Somebody refers it. Why do we go to a church? Somebody refers it. Is everybody getting that so far? Why do women go to a hair salon? Somebody refers it. Right? Sometimes you don't like that referral. But anyway, we eliminate next all of the traditional methods of marketing. We take all the profits, that would be you, and we refer it to customers, and you get the residual income off of that. Next. The business itself costs $499. For that, you get over 3,000 employees that you don't have to pay payroll on. Now, anyone in here, many of you guys own your own business, you know what it takes just to run your businesses alone. That was impressive to me. That I could actually have over 3,000 people just in North America talking in 15 different languages with the customer support, a technical support, with 5 attorney generals appointed by the presidents of their time as my legal defense anywhere in the world, and be able to work from a laptop from any beach in the world and be able to do this in my spare time versus just saying, hi, I'm picking my nose on Facebook. This just made sense to me. Is everybody with me? Yes? Next. You're going to actually get 10% on every customer that you acquire. Now you say it says 1 to 10%. Once you acquire 20 services, so in one of my houses I have 3 phones. So that's 3 services, a personal line, a business line, and a fax machine. I have 4 cell phones. My assistant has a son, I have a son, she has a phone, I have a phone. That's 4 cell phones. So that's 4 services right there. 3 with my landlines, that's 7 services. I have high-speed internet, that's 8. I have gas, that's 9. I have a security system, that's 10. By myself, I have 17 services. So one customer can have multiple services. Is everybody with me on that? Once you have 20 services, they pay you 10% on every customer they're following, which is a beautiful thing. So it's not that difficult. Why I share that is because I don't want anybody to get the interpretation that we go door to door, stand outside of malls trying to acquire customers. It's not that type of party. There's a system in place that we share with you, that you're able to share with others. Just like if, hypothetically, tell me your name here? Ardina went and her and her girlfriend went shopping. They saw a pair of shoes. Women, y'all love shoes, okay? She saw a pair of shoes that were $300. She's like, girl, you see them shoes? Good shoes. I'll get those shoes right there. Her girlfriend goes and sees the same thing in a private boutique at $150. What's the first thing she's gonna do? Call Ardina and say, hey, I saw the same shoe you want for $150. That's all we're doing is sharing information. The one thing that people talk about in their downtime is bills and lack of time and being able to get more time with the people that they love. Does that make sense? Here you get both of them. We eliminate your bills, you get more time, and make a whole lot more money doing so. There's nothing sexy about gigawatts, fiber optics, and telecom. But it is sexy to be able to wake up when you finish sleeping. How many people like that conversation? Okay? And you go back to sleep, and when you wake up, you have more money waiting for you. There's nothing more gorgeous than that. I promise you on everything that I share. Next. Next. So you're able to get bonus money, what we talked about what Dom did, right? Dom Amici goes and signs up, and he's getting bonuses, $250 for every security system. We had a person at his home meeting was it last night? Monday. Two nights ago, I don't know what it is. So 2 days ago, and he had a police officer in the house who is very respected and well respected in his field of what he does, who had Vivint in his home and had just made 4 referrals the week before to people on his block because of how phenomenal it is, which is one of the #1 security. How easy is it if you're in law enforcement and you're helping people not break into a house and you make a referral and say, look, if you don't want me coming after and doing the report, you should just get Vivint. And it's a phenomenal system. Are y'all with me on that so far? Plus we have ADT and a whole bunch of other things we can share. Every time you're acquiring customers, they're giving you an upfront bonus for everything that you're able to acquire. This month is as much as $250 and more. On top of that, let me give you an example. This is the way I look at it. I want you guys to get this. This is really powerful to me. Because I know when I sat there, when I came, I sat right where you sat, and I was just like, I'm coming out for a friend, I'm not getting in. 20 years later, I'm still not getting in. I sat there, but when you look at it, I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. Can anybody relate to that? I was making a 6-figure income already. I was well over 6 figures by the time I was 26. But I tell people, if you make $100,000 a year, but you owe $200,000, you're just on a higher broke level. It's amazing how many adults today work 8-9 hours a day and don't have an extra $500. Some at $40,000, some at $80,000, some at $150,000, but don't have nothing extra put aside because of the struggle that is very real today. Is everybody following that so far? So I looked at it. If you look at the business today, they have a marketing plan by giving away 6 services a day. They give you, or whatever you do it, in any given month, they pay you an additional $400. So I'll give you a prime example. I just came while I was in Mexico, and the guy was serving me, and I said, because you took care of my lobster so well, I have to give you a discount from my company. I mean, I'm just loving you. So I'm going to give you a discount on your cell phone, lower your bill, and give you a brand new phone for free. That's what I offered. He said, are you serious? I said, yeah, and I'm going to cover your first 2 months out of my own pocket. I had to give him a benefit. So if you learn some of the techniques that I share with you, which it costs nothing. The hardest thing about a business is creating the value and the price that costs for something to say, hey, I got this Bentley over here. Hey, I got this 500 SL over here. Hey, I got this $300,000 house. I'm going to get you into it for $250,000. People qualifying and having to come out of pocket. When you just have to figure out how to give something away for free for a necessity that everybody already has. And I got to learn how to do this 6 times a day. Give something away to a friend of mine. Are you guys with me on that so far? Yeah. I could do that in an hour if you really get good at it. So you give something away 6 times a day. That's $400 a day times 5 days. That's $2,000 a week times 4 weeks. That's $8,000 a month times 12 months. That's $96,000 a year for an hour to 2 hours worth of work a day on learning how to give something away if you never brought anybody into the business at all. Can anybody get excited about that conversation? They say, well, I don't want to recruit. I don't want to tell my friends. I want to do this. How about you don't bring nobody else in and you work an hour a day and make an extra $100,000 a year? How about that? Can that get you excited? Not only did you make $100,000 on the front end because they're paying you that $2,000 a week, but then the second year they're paying you 10% on all your customers residually if you never go and get another customer in your life. So now you're getting paid for another 5 to 10 years on bills that people have. Everybody say anyway. Anyway. You don't pay your bills what? Anyway. That's all we do. At the end of the day, you're going to make your money. The first thing you do when you get your check is go pay your bills. What happens if we can eliminate all your bills and give you another stream of income in and on top of that? That is massive to me. Next. What are the benefits of the company? Number 1, you no longer have any bills. All your bills are now free. Number 2, my favorite word in the business dictionary is residual income. The next child I have, if I'm blessed enough to have one, his name is going to be called Busies. So, Busy? Yeah, come on and walk. Go on over here. So then you got the third one, which is monthly personal customer bonuses, which is upfront money to take your mind off of the residual income that's building. Next. What's better than residual income? Overriding residual income. This is where the perception of a person, here comes the pyramid. Yes, if you haven't been to Egypt, don't talk to me about pyramids. Next, what's ironic is I've been saying that for like 20 years. And in Toronto, they're online right now, like 3 women stood up last night and said, yes, I'm from Egypt. I've been saying this like for 20 years, nobody's ever done that. I brought in one girl from Egypt, she brought in 2 more, she's like, we've been to Egypt, we know what a pyramid looks like. All right. So, this, because I did a lot of work in real estate, it made sense to me that each person that comes in is a store. And so what I love about the opportunity is I can't make $1 unless Justin makes $10. I can't make $1 unless Liz is going to make $10. The only way we make any money is to help somebody else make some money. So the key to this is understanding how do you raise somebody's belief in this business? Get them a check. The faster you get a check, the less questions you have. Is it worth 30 days to have someone crazy like me and my team of people that are around you to go to work for you and build you a check for 30 days? How long did you go to college? 4 or 5 years? You do understand 80% of the people that get a degree don't even practice what they got their major in. And 70% of the people that became wealthy dropped out of high school or college. So you're paying $250,000 just for undergrad for a degree that 8 out of 10 people don't even use the degree. Someone says, give me 90 days to show you how to be able to match your whole year, however old you are. Is everybody with me? I'm going to use somebody young. How old are you?
49.
49. So whatever income he makes right now, it's taking him 49 years to get to. And someone says, I can show you in less than 24 months how to match what it's taking you 49 years to get to on 10 to 15 hours a week. Give me 90 days to make you a believer. And someone says, I don't know. Sounds interesting. No, interesting is a book. And then we're so mentally incarcerated that we would miss a great opportunity that God brings to us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
By building an organization, numbers are perfect, people aren't. It will never work out like this. But in a hypothetical, if 2 people told 2 people, they told 2 people, 7 generations down, one of the things my mentor taught me that I studied under 3 billionaires, he said, number 1, told me 2 lessons about money. He said, number 1, if your money is not multiplying every year, you don't have it. If your money's staying the same every year, I can tell you this year alone, I stand to generate between now and January 31st, a $100,000 raise. How many people think that's pretty good? Yep. Okay, I would be remiss. I think that's pretty good. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that's per month. Do I have anybody's attention? That's the minimum I'm going to make this year, is a raise of 6 figures a month off of this little pyramid thing. By telling somebody who told somebody who told somebody, when we opened up Australia, and I can only tell this in an intimate environment of my own family, because if I do it publicly, I'll probably get kicked out of the company. But in my own family, I'm going to tell you, when Australia opened, my income jumped an additional $20K per week for 6 months straight. When you start seeing money like that, you really don't pay attention to people's opinions. Are y'all with me on that so far? People come in and say, well, I got my BA at Dartmouth, I went and did my thesis over at Princeton, I did my graduate work over at Harvard, and you know, this makes a lot of sense, but I'm highly intelligent, and I really don't have the time for it. Now, I'm coming back saying, I have none of that, but I'd be some multi-millionaire and I wake up when I finish sleeping. Which one sounds better? Because how many people know after you hit 35, nobody really cares what school you went to? Are y'all with me? That only means something in your 20s. Are y'all with me? So far after 35, we just want to know, you're the podiatrist, can you fix my foot? Can you fix my foot? Okay? So if you took 2 people and you built this 7 generations down, and that would give you over 5,000 customers. You can do the math on that of just a $100 variable. I don't know what your average gas bill is, or electricity bill is, or cell bill is, but let's just take an average that your bill was $100. 100 times 5,000 customers, that's $500,000 a month in billing. That puts you at $6 million bill of business you have per year off of a $500 investment. And a little sweat equity. Good or good?
Great.
That's next. These are what we call corporately earned positions. I'm going to break this down for the people that are serious, because those that just came out to support, I just want you to commit to becoming a customer. I don't want to keep you that long. But next, next, and next, and next. Okay? Actually, can I have all the ETTs just stand up real quick that are in the room? Don, go ahead and just share just a little bit, just a short testimony of what this means to you and why you're doing it as far as you and your wife.
So, I've been training Byron for about 1.5 to 2 years, and the man never once questioned anything that I told him, and I never questioned anything he told me. He's an expert at what he does. I'm an expert at what I do. So when he asked me if he could talk to some of my people about the business that he's doing, and I don't have to do anything right away, he just wanted to talk to some people. I'd be stupid to say no. So I said yes, and he flew myself, my wife, Beth, and another guy to Philadelphia to the international convention. And we were blown away. This man right here has touched more lives than anybody. People were coming from everywhere to say hello, to shake his hand, to just be in his presence. It was amazing. So, you know, we're here, we're along for the ride. You should all join. I'll tell you right now. Everybody should join.
We're just building the family. We're inviting you not to get into a business. I need you to understand, if you're seeing this, you have no idea what kind of family you're being invited to. Everybody else, I deal with a lot of pastors, bishops, rabbis that speak from a pulpit, but how many say, I want to actually change your life, your income bracket, and the trajectory of your family tree? And so it's called paying it forward. Someone did it for me. But here's what I understand about faith. You can only help someone get saved that actually wants to be saved. You can only help someone, as Dom and as Beth are both my trainers, you can only help someone get in shape who actually wants to work out. Does that make sense to everybody? So I'm not here to convince, I just want to share with the right people who are where I was, which is, I just needed something to change in my life. Does that make sense? The next position is executive team leader. I look at that, now you're in a position of making $200 an hour. Dom hit that position of ETT in less than 3 days of doing the business. Now he's on track in less than 10 days of earning the second position. I think $200 an hour is a great wage, yes or yes? Can I have the ETLs please stand up? So what you're looking at, and I want you to hear from really just two people very quickly. I can have every one of them speak like you have no idea. But if I can have Dr. Betty Walker please stand up, and Garen please stand up. And Garen, I'm going to have you go first and just share from your perspective.
Wow. A lot has changed since we started. That's all I can say. You become humble, meet new people, open new doors. Just everything's going to get us. That's all I got.
There you go. Awesome. Give him a round. Garen is just speechless today, but Dr. Betty Walker is my big little sister, if that makes any sense. I have so much respect for her and so much love for her, as well as Garen. I can talk about her. She is iconic in who she is. She is actually, there are books being written about her and her husband. She won't tell you this, so that's why I got to give the prelude. Her and her husband were identified by Mandela while he was in power personally to be able to go over to Africa and teach math and science to all the kids over there. And her commitment, her living on intention, her purpose it's not a theoretical or hypothetical or let's see if it's going to happen. She has changed millions of lives, her and her husband. Her husband has his own portfolio that is already in the Smithsonian Institute. So the caliber of people that we attract at this point in time is beyond adjectives of the family that we're inviting you to be a part of. And I just wanted her to be able to share because I love her so much. Please.
I love you too. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, it's not rocket science, even though my husband is a rocket scientist. This we could see with not a problem. And having children succeed in the inner city is my passion. And with the 2008 downturn of the economy, and I was just telling Sherry how you have to think outside of the box. So finding this business has made it possible to keep our business going with our kids, and we're looking forward to getting it going over in South Africa so that we can have millions of kids over there succeed. And South Africa, if you don't know, is the 4th leading user of cell phones in the world. So we're just looking forward to just spreading our wings and continuing to help more children. And we're now working with our church So it's just so much that can be done, that we can help each other with this business. Thank you.
Thank you. The next position, a team coordinator position, for $400 an hour, which all of them will actually, from ETD to ETL, being a part of this community, knock that out in 45 days or less, with the methodology that I'm going to share with the people that are serious tonight. And we obviously are blessed to have Queen Sika, if you could just stand up for a second and just give a quick testimonial as far as, give her a round. She is.
Well, I always say, I always start off by saying it's an honor to have you guys here because number one, you guys could have been somewhere else doing something else. And so the people that brought you here, they brought you here to share a blessing with you. So you can have another vehicle to transform your lives and possibly step into whatever your greatness is. I've been doing the business, 47 years ago. I say that my best friend shared the blessing with me in 1997. And I call it a blessing because I haven't worked a job since. So I've been able to do what I want, when I want, with whom I choose to, for as long as I want. And you don't understand how amazing it is just to have time freedom and to be able to give back in a higher plan and continue to share with other individuals that may take this vehicle and step into their true greatness.
Outstanding. Thank you. The next slide, which you'll see, is almost like going to a restaurant. And yes, we're going to South Africa, we're going to Cabo, all those that earn positions at the top levels. There's vacations. They actually, you can go and have pedicures, manicures. You just get cured. I remember that the first one I went on, I thought that I was like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. I mean, they're like, no, you could order anything. I'm like, so this is mine? I ordered everything. I ordered like crab, lobster, and I just knew they were going to arrest me at some point and give me a bill. He's like, no, you can slow down. I was like, no, right? So, I mean, they take care of the leadership like you've never seen. Obviously, you've heard from Dr. Glenn. I can talk about her till the cows come home. Regional Vice President, there's two levels of that. There's actually Regional Vice President and Platinum Regional Vice President that I actually hold. And obviously I'm finishing in less than 90 days, Senior Vice President, which they just opened that position a few years back, that starts at 6 figures a month net take home in residual income. So all of this is available to you. I like looking at the first 5 positions you saw as undergrad, Regional Director and Regional Vice President as graduate, and Senior Vice President is getting your doctorate. And so you can do that in anywhere between 12 months to about 3 to 4 years, predicated on how hard you want to work in your own business. Next. The key to this, more than anything else, is understanding the training. And so our training is second to none. I don't even like doing presentations because I think that it's really a 2-minute conversation. What is it that you do? We help people save money and we help people make money. And if a person doesn't want to make money or save money, you probably want to delete them from your phone. I looked at it and said, if I invite 2,000 people over the course of a year, and none of them wanted to do the business, but 1,000 people said, I at least want to save money on my bills. And you add up your phone, gas, electricity, internet, and cable bill, and use an average variable of $100 for all your bills in your house. 100 times 1,000 is 100,000 in billing. And you're going to get 10% of that. That's 10 grand a month hitting your bank account whether you get out of bed or not. That can change anybody's lifestyle. Even if you're flat out wealthy in here, you can bless a whole lot more people with an extra 10 grand a month. Does that make sense? So I take pride more so off the training than I do the actual presentation. So I'm completing the presentation because we have mostly business owners that come in here. So how many people like that you can give up 3 hours, 3.5 hours on a Wednesday and be able to do everything else from home for about 10 to 15 hours and never have to show up to work but for 3 hours a day on the ocean with an incredible view? How many people like the way that sounds, right? Tonight I'm gonna keep it short because I'm laying the foundation. This first 2 to 3 weeks is not gonna be the intense training. I'm setting people up for success. I have a plan to be able to do what I'm doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 5-minute break because at this point you're either number 1, I wanna make money, or number 2, I just came out to support my friend and I wanna save money. I'm gonna take exactly a 5-minute break. I'm gonna give you 30 minutes of a strategy. Okay, because it's going to change. I want you to understand the flow and the format of where we're going before we actually kick into gear, because I need to make sure that the core is tight and the support system is tight, and you understand the vision of what's going on and how we're going to set you up to within 90 days or less get to a minimum of 5 to 10 grand a month if you choose powerfully to be able to make that money, because it's more than on the table. And what's beautiful about it, it's all about leverage. It's not about you, it's about building a team that no matter NBA has a team, NHL has a team, NFL has a team. A doctor has a team. You don't want to go into a surgery with a neurologist and there's only just one neurologist in there. Are y'all with me? That's smart. OJ didn't want to go into court with just one attorney. He needed a team. Are y'all with me? That's smart. Didn't do him no anyway. But I'm here to build the most ridiculous, extraordinary team. And I need you guys to understand the heartbeat of the Matrix organization, more so than ACN in itself. ACN just writes our checks. You need to understand about the venture capital group we're building, what we're doing over in Africa, what we're doing in nonprofits, why I'm putting 200 kids through college and an additional 2,000 coming up, why we have a VC that's actually leveraging a clothing line, why we're actually going in and starting a whole music division, why my sister is actually the second black woman to become an agent at CAA, split the industry and took half of them over to ICM, and why she's handling someone like Halle Berry and Beyonce and everybody else that you've heard of. I want to share with you exactly why my godmother, Maxine Waters, and my father decided to start a legacy and change the entire family tree and plant it in my heart and my seed that you will be the last broke Nelson in the family tree. You need to understand, if you want to play on this team, really how much deeper the roots of this conversation go over the next 30 minutes if you want to make some serious changes. It's not just about network marketing, and it's not just about money. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes. It's about getting money out of the way as an issue so that you can do what you were born to do on purpose, not get you stuck in a vehicle of selling telecom gigawatts and fiber optics. So I work for Claps. Whoever invited you here tonight, let them know. I need to know that that's so water, get you some food. Did anybody like the hors d'oeuvres tonight? Yeah. It's my pleasure to be able to serve you guys. Y'all, I want y'all to know this is going to be a class act rollout like you've never seen before, and it's just going to get much better. I'm just starting. I'm going to finance this machine where anybody you bring, I don't care if it's President Barack Obama, who I do know, you're going to be able to blow up this organization at a class act on a professional level like you've never seen before and have a lot of fun, make a significant amount of money, and change a lot of lives. And we're going to do that, and I'm going to share it with you in less than 30 minutes just so you can make a decision before you walk out of here tonight. If you choose not to be a part of it, at least tell the person who invited you, I want to support you, and I at least want to save money on my bills. Is that a fair enough deal? Yeah. 5 minutes. Thank you guys. God bless. What this does is it lays the foundation over 2 to 3 years of getting people free, because when I ask all around the world what's the most valuable commodity to people in life, I get every kind of answer, but the real commodity in life is actually time. You know, if we go to any funeral, the one thing we say, and we have a lot of people passing in our lives right now, the one thing that we say at every funeral is, I wish I'd spent more time with somebody. And what the Matrix does more than anything else, so that you understand what the Matrix stands for, you can write it down for those who are new, it stands for making a team realize its expectations. It's built on the principle that if Jesus had 12 disciples and 48 plus apostles, what makes any one of us think we could do it by ourselves? And I usually give the disclaimer because I do have Mormons, I have Jews, I have, literally Buddhists, I have Muslims, I have people of every walk of life that follow my tutelage. And so then I'll ask, generally in a room that is, especially when you're out of the country, because this is the most Christian country in the world, but everywhere else you can get almost anything. Is everybody following me on that so far? So what I'll put as a disclaimer is, what is the highest, religion on the planet? And people will be stumped, and I'll say it's called truth. Because no matter what you call them, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus Christ, it's still, everybody's looking for just the truth when you're seeking that. And so in that, I got into business for myself, so I don't have to apologize for being able to give thanks to my Lord and Savior who saved my life in 1,000 different ways. Anthony just asked me what had happened down in Mexico, where I just came from, and I've shared with Liz and Don when I first came back, because literally I was there for 4 days. I came back on Monday to do their presentation. I got back on a plane, did a meeting in Texas, and then I went on a plane and got back to Toronto and went 4 days without any sleep and just got back from Toronto this morning. I know, right? I just made you tired. But one of the things that I share more than anything else is we're in a season, which I call it the sowing season right now. And I look at the different seasons. The harvest is coming. You heard a lot of people talking about 2016 was going to be their year, and in the reality, these first 2 to 3 quarters has been very hard on a lot of people. But the year's not over.
Right.
You know, and that's where I believe faith comes in, and when you truly understand what faith is, of that not being seen, but you manifest it based on how you believe. I believe and expect abundance. I've been telling people, well, how are you? I'm living in a B&B, where most people's lives are overwhelmed with all the things that's going on in their life. Mine, I call it just abundant blessings. I can't stop it. I mean, yes, I'm exhausted. Yes, I'm tired. Yes, I haven't slept in 3 to 4 days, but I'm the last person you'll hear complain. I'll go another 5 days if I have to stay up with what I call just the catching mitt to catch all these blessings. That's where most of the time you guys have heard, you know, oh, it can't get any worse. And it gets worse. You know, so we wait for it to get good. So when it's good, I'm staying awake as long as I can. Hey, I've had enough bad seasons. I'm just, what else I have to take to stay awake? Because I want these blessings. And it's just, I believe in the law of attraction, that you actually attract who you are. You know, and I worked so hard at giving more and more myself, and I want you guys to understand that about the business. As me and Mark were just talking, this is second exposure. This is not to get anybody in. I need you guys to understand that. You know, to be a part of what we're doing is a movement. And I believe that wherever you go, that's where you are. So wherever I go, I claim that territory. I become that territory. I don't just kind of move in. Dom will tell you, when people come into their gym, it's like, you the owner? I might as well be. What do you need? You know, I mean, I claim my territory because I want to be an asset wherever I go and to whoever's life I walk into. And when you want to be a part of something like that, this is the second week that we've had this meeting. I haven't built in Los Angeles since working with Dr. Glenn, as well as Dr. Walker and a couple other people in here. But I cut away, as Jamila will tell you and Cheryl, 90% of my organization so that you can get this kind of access. So that you weren't standing in line, it was a rah-rah session, you would feel something like, okay, is it another presentation? I'm not about that. I need you to understand that if you do choose to be a part of this, I'm looking at you as you would expect of me. I'm going to always deliver. I live to work out, to show up in a specific state to represent you. And I need people who want to reflect that at a level of excellence. Nobody cares if a person has 15 degrees or if they came from the hood, so long as God only cares where you're going, not where you've been. And so when we can create an environment to truly change lives, I mean, really, not hypothetically, and I started with the Mexico conversation because I wish I could show you the pictures on my phone. I had a young lady who actually flew in to meet with me for the opportunity. And in that, she's like, after 2 hours of showing up, it's a 2-hour flight from, I want to call it Quetacán. It's a part of Mexico right outside of Mexico City. And she's showing me these pictures, and she showed me a YouTube video that she took. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, is this the 4th of July? It's just like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And cars are blowing up. And I'm like, what is going on? She said, they just broke out El Chapo's brother and killed 5 militia trucks, and all the militias were on the block. And they blew it up. And I mean, we're talking about an all-out movie gunfight. I mean, like, Army against streets, like straight up Compton on steroids. And I mean, I'm like looking, I mean, like in the back in the day, because I moved it, I mean, I'm from Compton, so I was there right between the, the Pirates and the Crips when they had a whole thing on it going on. So it was on steroids. And I'm looking at this like it's on the movies, like it's on CNN, like you're seeing something blowing up. And so she's just like, my son is there. He's 7 years old. I gotta go get my son. And I'm like, so she calls her mom. Mom says, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Just don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. So she stays. The next morning, we go to the meeting. She shows me the papers, the front page of every paper in Mexico, what just happened. They just broke out El Chapo's brother. But here was the kicker. It was 2 houses from her house. And she's telling me, this is normal. We have gotten used to seeing a man in the middle of the street dead, or a person that just got shot. And I'm finding more and more out about how intricately her family and her father, it's like, I do this because you don't talk about it, but it comes down to my father is one of the direct sergeants to El Chapo. He's an absentee father, he's always provided, but we never know where he is. And I'm like, okay, let me move over a little bit too. But I'm listening to this conversation, and I can give you story on top of story of another guy who was my driver. I left my phone in the car, in an unmarked car. He was a transporter, if you guys know what that is. He was a transporter. He drove people on the side, no tracker on the car, I run up the block like I run to Admiralty Way, up and down for 5-7 minutes, come back, and I'm like, this is gonna be a bad trip. Nobody knows how to reach me. I can't speak Spanish. I'm in the middle of a city. Nobody knows how to find me. I don't know how to find nobody. I got a driver here who's like, he can't speak English. I can speak Spanish, and so this guy who's sitting there says, would you like me to go look for him? And I'm like, and he tells the other guy, he's saying, would you like to get in the car and he'll go and try and find him? I said, does he know him? He said, no. And so he don't know him, he don't know where he goes. Where we going? I'm like, hold it, I don't even got a phone, I might end up on the wrong, because coming here, I was looking at dogs in the street, tires going on, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, so I said, yeah, what do I got to lose? I get in the car, we drive for 35 minutes, he looks back and he says, Buscar? I'm like, look, I know the words. I was like, Buscar is to look. I was like, did you see him anywhere? I thought you were looking. I'm in the back. We had gone down 3 or 4 alleys, 2 or 3 freeways, and we're up there, and he's just like, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. And wouldn't you know it, 35 minutes of driving, 2 freeways, up and down alleys, the guy is right to the left of us on the freeway when I'm like, as soon as I put my head down. And I said, if y'all don't believe in God, y'all going to hell. Because there's no way in life something like that could even happen here in the United States. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like in awe. So what happens is, for those that know the money, I end up giving him like 2,000 pesos a day to be my personal driver. And he is so grateful. By the last day, we're sitting having, because everywhere I went, he was driving me. So I brought him in to see the opportunity. He didn't really get it, he didn't understand it, but what made the difference was the fact that I introduced him as my friend. I took him into every restaurant. I treated him to a meal every day he was with me. On the last day, we're sitting in a nice 5-star restaurant. It's nothing to us. $100, $200 meal is nothing. For people for me, I'm just like, I just wanted him to I just wanted to know how much that I appreciate him and that God sent me an angel. And we ended up literally not being able to speak one language, crying at the table with her translating at the table. He's like telling her, it's like nobody's ever, people come, because 98% of the population is poor. There's only 2% that has any money. Dead poor. I'm talking about 30 million people in one city. New York on steroids, and all of downtown has graffiti on it. Not just parts of the city. Everywhere you go. I saw a guy that was there that at 2 o'clock in the morning, I said, man, you've been working late, because I just saw him at 10 o'clock. He's like, no, I just came back. I said, what do you mean just came back? He said, I finished at 10:30, I started at 2. I said, how often do you do that? He said, every day. And to be able to give somebody an extra $10 or $20 of people, and that's why I tell people that 65% of the multimillionaires in this country are from another country, if you understand that, in this country. Why I use the Jewish conversation is because they collectively collaborated economically and financially. My only goal for the next 3 years, now I have over 100 people that make 7 figures, but in this family, I'm going to create 12. That's all I need is 12. I don't care who gets out, I don't care who gets in. I'm not here to sell, I'm not here to convince, I'm not here to share. It's not about getting rich, it's about having a collaborative syndicate of individuals that want to work from a benevolent perspective, that believe in God and understand that it is their duty and obligation to be able to do something great for everybody that's around them, because we live in a space of entitlement. We take our freedom for granted. We don't understand really how much we have going on to just be able to do the things we do. We break every color, every ism, no racism, no feminism, no nepotism. If we really understood the value in living on intention, on purpose with your life, you'd understand why you don't sleep. One of the things I learned from a billionaire who taught me, he said, wealthy people are considered workaholics because they forget that they're working. When you're living on purpose to save lives, as what I see Dr. Walker doing in Africa, spending 6 months there and 6 months here, and other people that work as doctors in hospitals, until you've actually sat in an ER room where she sits, or you see people dying, we don't think about air until you can't get no more of it. Right, Beth? Now we'll think about air, because I'm stuffy. We just take it, it's like we actually have the autonomy and the luxury, or the, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, I think it's bad to believe that we have the choice to look at opportunity and say, I don't know, sounds interesting. Interesting. It's not about selling somebody an opportunity. See, I look for someone that's like me. I had a burning desire to change my life. And I still do. I'm talking about like to the point of air, that I had to do something. My father planted in my soul a long time ago, you'd be the last broke Nelson. I didn't take that for granted. I didn't know how it was going to happen when I got into this business. All I know is I wanted to get off of a job. I didn't think about getting rich, getting in it. I was like, if I can make an extra $5,000 a month, it's worth $500. You know, I was like, hey, you know, if I can get a comment in my check and even an extra $1,000, what would an extra $1,000 do? It would change your entire address. What would an extra $500 change your entire car? What would an extra $3,000 to $5,000 do on a part-time basis? And you could walk away and residually continue to get your bank account? And then you look at it, it's like, well, really, what do you have to lose? 30 days to see if what I'm talking about is the truth? 30 to 60 days to really find out if this is real? For a business that you don't have to qualify, you don't have to take through a procedure, you don't have to go and take another class. I mean, we squabble and argue over stuff that when somebody's dying, it goes right out your brain. We major in the minors. We have the luxury in this country to major in stuff that means nothing. We look up, we're 20, we're 30, we're 40, we're 50, we're 60, we're 70 years old and asking, where did our life go? God, that went by fast. Am I really this old? And then you get to people that say, well, you know, this is for young people, I'm already old. Then die. You meet somebody like Dr. Walker who's like running around younger than anybody 12 years old saying, call me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, but other people are like, well, you know, I just don't have the energy I used to be. That's because you aren't living. Is that making sense? So I'm not here to sell you on the gigawatts and the fiber optics. I'm here to sell you on why people come over here with 3 degrees with a PhD and they're cleaning houses. And we won't even cut yards anymore. And we won't clean houses, but we'll sit up there and look for welfare checks. And we'll have women that will go and get 3 and 4 babies so they can get more checks. Instead of getting off your knees, you pray for something every day. It's never going to show up the way you expect it to show up. It shows up. But if your soul and your third eye is not open enough to recognize it's not what it is, it's who we are. That's who we are. Whoever invited you, my soul, who I am is their DNA. I am Dr. Walker, I am Queen, I am everybody that's in here. The law of attraction, if they lock this hotel down right now, they locked it down and nobody can get out, every single mother will find each other. Every Mormon will find each other. Every person who wants to break out will find each other. Every person who wants to pray for somebody to come get them will be over in another corner. Law of attraction, wealthy people find wealthy people, people that want to push to the level of excellence. What we're doing is creating an institution for greatness. It's a self-development course with an incredible compensation plan. My invitation is, I'm not looking to get you in, I'm looking for somebody who wants to match me in wanting to change the world. And how do you change the world? By changing your own first. You can't love somebody else until you learn how to love yourself first. And too many people are looking for all the answers outside of themselves. You don't have to worry about whether it's going to be, you know, Clinton or if it's going to be Trump, if money's not an issue in your life. You really don't have to worry about it. You got enough money, who's going to be president? I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, it's like, you know. I know I've done enough to take care of my family no matter which way it goes. Yes, I know my people bled to be able to get the vote. I'm going to vote, but it really don't matter to me who gets it. Because if you look at it, 90% of people's problems come from lack of money and time. We say it all the time, money's not everything, but it's up there with oxygen. You breathe a lot easier when you have it. See, being rich and wealthy is not how much money you have, it's the people that are around you. It's the people who can come to you when you can. We all gonna have ups and downs. Life is nothing more than it's really nothing more than the Dow. You're gonna peak and have highs, and it's gonna crash at some point. And some people stay there because they don't understand it's gonna go back up. I tell people all the time, in life, when you're at the top of the mountain is when you need to pray. When you're at the bottom of the mountain is when you need to party. 90% of the population, they party when they're at the top. And they pray when they're at the bottom. When I'm at the top, I'm praying to stay. God, like I told you, B&B, can I stay here? I don't know what you got to do to help me stay here. I don't need to party, God, but it took me a long time to come back up, and I really don't want to go back down the hill right now. But at the bottom, I'm praying because I'm like, okay, I need a breakthrough. I need to go back up the hill. But it's a lot easier when you're surrounded with those people that believe the way you believe, that pray the way you pray, and love the way you love, and have your back. There's a lot of people in here that are very well-to-do, but when it comes down to it, how many of you have 5, 10 people like you around you? Because I know I did. I know it all fell on me when it came down to it. No matter how well I did, it was just me. So we could collectively come together for what, a short period of time, 2 to 3 years. Here's what I know, 2 to 3 years is gonna come anyway. Right? It's gonna come anyway. So what if it works? Because I know I've had a lot of friends. I've been broke and I've been rich. When I was broke, I had broke friends. As I got wealthy and rich, I have rich friends. I tell you, it's a lot easier when you got rich friends. It's a lot, and when I say rich, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about resources. Does that make sense? When you can pick up the phone and somebody is like, where are you? Oh, I'm in Africa, but what do you need? And I can tell you, Dr. Walker can make a phone call and worlds were shipped. She can do it from Africa. Yeah, we got 20 friends right here in our backyard. Like, dog, Mark, I'm sorry, man. Homie, wish I could help you out. I'm sorry.
Pray for you.
I pray for you, right? How many people understand that conversation? We need to elevate. We need to elevate. We need to escalate. So here's the plan. Let me break this down. Right now what I'm doing is I'm building for a major event which is going to happen on the 14th and 15th. What I've done for 2 months is I've covered the entire expense of this room. Nobody has to pay $1. Nobody has to do anything but show up. And trust me, it's not inexpensive at the water 5 feet from you. All the food is taken care of, all the drinks. I'm just looking for who wants to be in this business and fill up this room. Let me do what I do. I tell people all the time, God gave me 100 things to do. 97 I'm bad at. My best friend hates that conversation. But I'm telling you, the 3 things I do, I'm one of the best in the world. I am Whitney Houston with a mic in my hand. She didn't do a whole lot of things, but she could sing and nobody could touch her. She was blessed with a certain gift. My gift is reaching souls that want to be reached. You fill the room, I'm gonna do the work. We'll give you a game plan to work on your off schedule at home. You don't have the money, even more why you should be in the business. You know people don't have the money, even more why you should be blessing them. You over 21 years old, you got extra, you don't have an extra $500, that's a problem. Will everybody agree with that? Yeah. We aren't judging, we're just saying, let's be upfront about it and say, okay, let's make that not ever be a problem again. Because a closed mouth will never get fed. We all know people that have been there, that have been in a position where no matter what's going on, it could have been the kids, it could have been their school, it could have been the car, it could have been our business, where we just don't have it. But why not position ourselves where it never becomes an issue ever again in our life, and all we got to do is fill the room? Does that make sense to everybody? So I have a system where we're only going to meet on Wednesday nights. I want to go into a format where I want to do the presentation from 8 to 8:35 and it's done. Your guests will be given the option to be able to say, I want to be a part of it or I don't, for about 15 to 20 minutes. I need a team that's going to be in the room and helping me navigate instead of just hanging out at 9 o'clock so we can respect people's time. So we can go from 9 o'clock until 10:30 with an intense training. Now the new guests, they have the option. They may stay for the first half, for the second half, and they may not. But what I will always do is the second night, like I'm gonna do for everyone that's here tomorrow night, like we set up with different appointments, at 8 o'clock tomorrow, the people around you already know how to do it. I'm gonna do an online back office and show them how I built the business for even my son. I got a position for my mom, my sister, for me, everybody I love. I own 5 positions. My son's position I built for the last about 5 years is generating about $40,000 to $50,000 a month. How many people think that's good for a senior in high school? I think that's pretty good for a senior in high school. And I know our people, because my followers from St. Louis to Show Me State, sometimes we just need to see that it's real before it's like, well, you sound good. You know, I heard some good speakers. He's really good. But I don't know if they all really making that kind of money. I do, but what's really crazy is I got people I've trained that make 2 and 3 times more than me. And where we're going is ridiculous. So the money is there, the possibilities are there. I don't want to sell you on it's easy, because it's not. It's simple, but if I could show you how to get where you want to be in 10 years and 2 years, can you make a decision to do something for 2 years on a part-time basis of 10 to 15 hours a week on your own schedule and only show up for 3 hours during once a week of somebody who's going to give you a gift for the next 2 months? That's the game. Bringing nothing but the high-end players. And here's what I know. Leaders identify themselves. So I'm not going, you know, once somebody gets a membership at Dom's Gym, he's not calling and say, hey, you got a membership 2 weeks ago. You coming to the gym? No. You get a membership of 24-Hour Fitness. When's the last time they called you? Well, they ain't coming. Equinox Method, you call? No, they just they don't come. It's like their money. So people ask me all the time, this business is like a health gym. On New Year's Eve, everybody says, I want to make money and get in shape. On New Year's Day, 1,000 people get a membership, and a year later, one person looks good. So if you find the people that have the DNA that just know how to win, they know how to achieve, it doesn't matter if it costs them $500 or $5,000. What I know about this group in this room right here, because of the people that invited you, it's not about the money for Mark. It's not about the money for Sherry. It's not about the money for you. Is it worth my time? It's what you're asking yourself. Even if it's subconsciously and you don't even know. Is it, do I have the, you know, do I want to put myself into something that is it really worth my time? And I'm telling you, give me a 60-day window and I'll prove to you that it's worth your time. I'll match every one of you on work ethic. You give me an hour, I'll give you 10. You take one step, I'll take 20. And you can ask anybody that invites you here. What makes me dangerous, there's nobody on the planet that does what I do in this industry. And the ones that do assimilate like the Borg. I look for people. I'm not intimidated with great people. That's why I love having Dr. Walker, Dr. Glenn, and the people around me, because they raise the bar and the ante of who I am. They've already paid a price. He's already paid a price in who he is. For me to say, is this really what you want? Yeah, this is what I want. Let's go. I don't want pikers and people that just sit around or just want to be involved with something and do a rah-rah. I'm not having you come in for the next 3 to 6 months just to waste your time and say, well, you did your best. I'm sorry you're making money. No, I'm going to challenge you at every front because I want a room. You know what? Why do people go to a specific church? Not because of what's being preached. You got Catholic, Protestant, you got all kinds of churches. They all read from the same book. Why does one have 25,000 and another one have 200? Because of how they're fed when they walk in. What has to happen is there has to be a specific culture in this room. And it can't come from the pastor or the messenger. How you bring as an asset and make other people feel. In any room I go into, I don't care if they're my money or not. Dave will tell you that. Many other people will tell you that. Anybody that's around me, if you're in my space, Garen and his wife will tell you that. We only want people that want to bring something to the table and raise an elevation, an algorithm, a certain vibration that generates nothing but benevolence and positivity and abundance. And it's impossible to fail working our system. So 3 things I'm going to leave you with. 1 is the system. For those that are taking notes, it's called QPN. QPN stands for getting qualified. When a person first comes in within their first 48 hours, how do you actually work the business? It's through customer acquisition. So the first thing I did with Dom and Liz is you can't market something you can't believe in. So we're going to walk you through the products and services through internal consumption so that it's not an imposition on you to be able to get you signed up as the services and products, because it doesn't matter how great the possibilities are, if I can't believe in something, what's the most important thing to us, especially the higher up we are in life, is our integrity. I don't want to get somebody involved with something that nobody, you're going to pay me $1 million to ruin all my relationships. That's not cool. Are y'all with me on that so far? So the first thing is we sit down with you and we walk you through understanding the services through internal consumption. And you pick the ones that you like. Well, somebody said, well, I read on Google, I saw this and I saw that. I said, let me ask you something. In fact, I was asking a team recently, I said, what's the most popular place? Have you ever shopped at Macy's? We've all shopped at Macy's. Did you ever take something back? Yes, we've all taken some back. So did they go out of business because you have one bad dealing with them? No, there's no perfect situation. And you're still utilizing the services that you have. So you got to find the ones that you believe in, that you like. I personally like merchant services. I love Flash because you're using Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile. I mean, these are the ones that I like the most. Does that make sense? I like energy based on what country you're in. So, I mean, it depends on what works for you. And I love digital service because we've gone from copper to fiber optic to now everybody's going to have copper. I mean, it's going to have digital service. And you're looking at it that currently there's only 15% of the population that has solar, and within 5 years, over 60% of the population in the United States will have solar.
That's right.
So whether you liked it or not, 10 years ago, everybody was on dial-up, and today, if you got dial-up, you're an antique. So you say, I don't like change. It doesn't matter. You're an antique. Keep waiting for that thing to load up. Okay? So, I mean, these are things that are essential services that you just need to be, equipped with. So the first thing we're going to do is get you qualified in the queue. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to set up a home meeting. So I just did one in Canada. They had 40, 50 people in the room. You can do it however you want to do it. If you don't want to do it in that way, we can do a one-on-one, two-on-one. We'll create a strategy, but here's what I know. in real estate, if you don't show the property, nobody's gonna buy the house. I just don't want nobody to come to my house, but you wanna sell it. How let me have so far? Any business that makes the most amount of money, I don't care who it is, the one who has the most exposure is gonna make the most amount of money. Once you understand the marketing plan, you only need 3 5-star generals to take you to a 6-figure a year income. 3 crazy people that will truly put their words and their actions together. And I'll break it down, but I'm not gonna go through all the positions, but 3 people will get you to a 10 to a 20 to a 30,000 a month income if you follow the system. 6 people will get you to a 6-figure a month income. You just gotta figure out how much money you wanna make, right? Easier said than done, because think about it, how many are there like you, Mark, or how many are like you, Sherry? I mean, it's not that many. But they're out there because of law of attraction. We know other people that have an amazing work ethic, that have integrity, that understand business, and want to be able to make a difference and get more money back in their life so they can have more time to do what they want to do. Does that make sense? So the PBR is a home meeting in which we would set up with you, and either myself or a team of my leaders will come, like Dr. Glenn and several others, and come and do the presentation for you. You don't have to do the presentation. All you got to do is like Dom did. That's how she came into the business. Cindy's like, okay, we're gonna talk about some money, and we're gonna drink wine afterwards, and I'm in. This makes too much sense. I like this. This is a whole lot better. An hour and a half in my house versus 8 hours at a job.
Right.
So are you getting me on that so far? So the PBR stands for Private Business Reception, QP. The N is equivalent to training. It stands for a national convention. So I look at it like you have a midterm and you have a final. The final is on December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The midterm is coming up on my birthday. So we're gonna blow that out, and my personal goal is to have 100 of us as a family show up for a training that's gonna be done by 4 multimillionaires. It's gonna happen on October 14th and 15th. So in that, you got it? Yeah. It's up there? Oh, you got it? Let's just move out the way real quick. What's crazy is Mike Masudi is the Senior Vice President. That's at 6 figures a month. Of course, there's myself. Then there's Regional Vice President. Those who were here last week saw Mr. Dean Turali, who was phenomenal. Mr. Alistair Jace actually owned a construction company. He's obviously, last name, you get it, he's Italian. He actually owned a construction company that when we had the earthquake in Northridge. You guys remember the big earthquake way back in the day? It fractured and broke down the entire Sherman Oaks Galleria. It was his company that rebuilt and restructured everything. And if you understand construction, even though he owned a magnificent company, he had all employees and he was working from sun up to sundown. And he was like, I just want more time. I don't want to be doing this. He's like, and he replaced his entire multi-million-dollar income with this opportunity for him to be able to work 2 days a week and do what he wants to do. So we put together a cast, because what true leaders want is they don't want the sizzle and the hype, they want the how-to. How does this work exactly? So what I'm setting up between now and these days is we'll be here next Wednesday, and then that weekend, on Friday, there's a leadership from 7 to 9 that's gonna actually be able to truly get people up to speed on a leadership. And because this is a new team, those that are serious, you have to identify yourself to me. You can get my number, or your leader, whoever's sponsoring you. Tamia has my number, Dr. Walker has my number, Dr. Glenn, Dom, whoever you're here with, Queen, in this room, you just have to let them know, I want to work directly with him as well as with you, and I want to be a leader in this game. And then in turn, you're talking about just a few sacrifices to get 100% of the information and be trained. The leadership is from 7 to 9, and then we have a full-blown training on Saturday, which is from 10 o'clock until 3 p.m. on my birthday, which I would expect all you guys to show up for my birthday gift, just to be there. Okay? And we're going to have an amazing birthday celebration. So I'm going to have my birthday party, training y'all on how to get rich. How many people like that conversation? Right between now and that period of time, what I'm setting up is actually a training that next Wednesday. So see where I'm going with this. Everybody follow me on that so far? I'm going this Wednesday. Tomorrow night, I'm doing an 8 o'clock online back office. That gives you more than enough information to let the person know I'm in, or I want to be a customer. Then we'll have a conversation in which we can do a home meeting if you like to do it. I'm a now person, but it depends on your schedules, because I know a lot of you guys are busy. But we can launch it this weekend, And when I'm in town, I strongly suggest and encourage you to take advantage of it, by the way, because my calendar fills up quickly. Are y'all with me on that so far? So I'm here through the weekend, in which I would love to help you guys launch. We could sit down, put together a strategy session, whatever you're comfortable with. If you say, I'm in, but I just need a strategy, then we sit down and do that. If you say, I'm in, but I want to put people in front of you, we sit down and do that. You have me all through this weekend to be able to do that. Is everybody with me on that so far? So with the exception of taking my mom to a concert on Saturday night, that's a spiritual thing with Hezekiah, Walker, and all of them. They're singing. I'm taking my 80-year-old mom. We get in the front row, and we're gonna be sitting there doing our thing. And so, outside of me taking my mom out and treating her like a queen on Saturday night, you guys get full access to me all through this weekend. Are you guys with me on that so far? And you really want to talk it. So Mark, you can do that. Sure, we can do that. But if you're brand new, I'm telling you guys, you too, we can do that. I've been waiting on you too. Yes, you too. You guys want to do that as quickly as possible because there's some hungry fish in here like Dom and his whole team and some other people that will suck up the time quickly if you don't book. They're like, they don't even know. Don't worry about it. They won't get an appointment until 2018. Okay, so I'm just letting y'all know, just identify yourself as quickly as possible in there. From that weekend of the 14th and 15th, because I want the leaders to pay attention to what I'm doing. The following week, I won't be here, so you will have the conversation of what's going to happen is, I'm actually going to have Allison Jace come and do just the presentation, and I'm going to have Dr. Glenn do a specialized training, which is going to be on that weekend after this weekend, on that Wednesday, on specifically customer acquisition. So she's going to go deep on an intense leadership of understanding the products and services, which gives her 2 weeks to prepare for it. And when I tell you that she is a beast in understanding it, I will couple her with my queen, Miss Erica Yancey, who is acquiring over 1,000 customers a week. She is the matriarch and the arch. I just want Cindy, come here. Tell me how much Miss Yancey helped you in being able to this week. She just got started over the last 24 hours. She's right there. Share exactly how much she helped you in
She really did. At Dom's house, we sat, we talked, and I was asking all these questions, and we were going back and forth, and they were like, there's other people that want to talk to Eric. I was like, okay. I let her go, and she had to talk to some other people. And then I had a lot of other questions about how things went. And so I texted her, and I said, Erica, I'd love to just talk with you. I just want to pick your brain. And so we met last night at Starbucks, and you came too, Justin. And the lady had to come up twice and say, we're closing now. We were like, I'm sorry, we'll go now. But I just love her, and I love you. And I'm so excited. It's just like such a feeling of support and different than anything I've ever done before. I feel it.
Awesome. Thank you. Give me a round. I want you guys to understand that because that week I have an event with James Adlam in Toronto that I'm going to be with my team in Toronto for about 4 days at minimum. And so that Wednesday, I want you guys, because you'll have enough information between now and then, between what's happening on my birthday weekend, between next week as well. Okay, so between me being here throughout this weekend, next week me being here laying a very strong foundation, and you will have a flyer. I have a flyer that's being done. You have an invitation where you can invite as many people out as you want. I'm also going to put together a video piece with me on it, so you don't have to figure out how to share this with people or invite people. I'm going to put together a 2-minute piece, and you're like, look at this, if you like it, you need to come out, that you can send out to as many people as you want. Are y'all following me on that so far? It's going to be the heart, it's going to be awesome, because I mean, my job is, the #1 key in making money in this business is getting yourself out of the way, right? Because as soon as they ask a question that you can't answer, you're like, okay, and they'll say, well, after you make some money, let me know about it. You see what I'm saying? Or is it one of those things? Is it a pyramid? Or I've been invited. Is it ACN? I've seen that. You got all this going on, but by the time you hear a piece from me in 2 minutes, I'm going to squash all that and make it very easy. I'm going to do one that's professional, that's across the board. I'm going to do one for just Dom's team. I'm going to do one that's dealing with Black America. I'm going to do one that's going to be truly about just network marketing. You can pick one of 3 pieces that I'm going to have done that will be done over the next 48 hours that you will be able to send to everybody that you know and say, look, I'm just inviting you. Are y'all with me on that so far? And all I want to know is I only have 3 seats. That's the conversation I have. I only have 3 seats to a VIP event that's happening in Marina Del Rey. It's going to be hors d'oeuvres and food. I'll have an invite after that. After they look at it, you can then send them the invite, and it will say a VIP invite only event in Marina Del Rey, dressed up can understand the matrix group, which is why we put it that way. That you can fill this room up and put another 50, 60 people in this room. Leverage that. I'll do the job from there and create the value for them to go get trained that weekend. From that, they'll be able to come back on Wednesday with more guests and get trained thoroughly between Miss Yancey and Dr. Glenn, 100%. Does that make sense? You guys follow me on that so far? And in that, you'll get 100% of understanding the products and the services and know all the nuances of being able to do that. So how many people like the strategy so far? Does that work for everybody? So anything else you need, I will be available on call. You get with the people that invited you. We can have a strategy conversation on the phone, Skype, or in person if you want to come down to South Bend. Yes?
You mentioned about 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock tomorrow night on join.me, everybody has the information, the same conference call number. All the leaders have the number. Join.me/the matrix group. And there's a conference call number. So I don't use the speakers on the computer. You use your own phone to hear my voice on a conference call number. And you're given a link that allows you inside of my computer. So I'll walk you through tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Everything online that you need to see, you just need to have your phone. Because some people get on, they're like, I can't hear you through the computer because I don't use the speakers on the computer. Are you guys with me on that so far? So that's going to be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
And you need the number?
No, you got the number, right?
No, I'm just saying for everyone else. For the
Everybody
whole
else has
line.
it. Dr. Glenn got the number for his team. Dom got the number. It's a small group. Everybody here knows how to get it. That's all. Yeah. So just make sure everybody has the information. I will be on at 8 p.m. Everybody got it? Any questions? Anybody curious?
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I want you to do is, my only request is by the time I finish tomorrow evening, and some of you may have already made up your mind, and that's great too. But by the time I finish tomorrow evening, I need you to let her know, Mark, I'm in. You know, if you need to talk to me during the day tomorrow, I'll make the time to do so. I don't need your money. I don't do the wham bam. Oh, come on, here's that. We have apps in the back. If you want to fill them out, we have them. But I'm not here to take your money. I need some players that want to blow this building up, that want to blow up a team. I need a circle of influence. I need some leaders that want to do something great. I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm the best and know how to do it. I just need to pass my information on to other leaders who already understand business and want to raise the ante. Does that make sense, everybody? Outstanding. Well, what time is it now? Oh, we're complete. Sorry, I paid for it. Awesome. I work for Claps. I thank you guys for your time.